Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is According to Callus, and we are going to begin the review of the 5-Star Plan, written by Mr. Robert West. He is a Texas resident, and he also is a former candidate for Congress. It's just over 70 pages long. I believe we had like a dozen chapters in here, which is good. That's fine. I am going to try and do this in about 3 videos. So I'm going to just kind of give you a recap of the important points that are in here. And we're just going to start by the beginning. And then there's the 5-star agenda. Who do I recruit? The first 5 steps. Can we really do this? The candidate, the office, make it happen. What the elected could do. What it takes to win. Where are we at? Acknowledgements. And then a brief synopsis on what the governor, who the author is that was the candidate. Excuse me. My allergies are kind of kicking my butt right now, so I apologize. So, in the beginning, there was the 5-star plan. Replacing politicians with patriots. If you want to know more, join me on the podcast. So, Robert West wrote this, and he kind of says it's in memory of Justice David Bridges. So they were all campaigning for Congressional District 4, and they spent a lot of time working together on different and not campaigning together, I guess would be the best way to put it. So a lot of this stuff came about while he was on the campaign trail. And one of the things he said is, and this is in the very beginning here, the information in the book is meant for educational purposes only and based on personal experience. They're meant to inform and entertain. So, that being the case, we know about our contents. In the foreword, I'm going to skip most of that. In fact, Bob Hall writes it, and just going to borrow a chapter out here. It says, today I would say that the government we have is a result of the failure of the American people to responsibly participate in the process of selecting governing officials at all levels of government, from the school board to the city to the county, the state, and the federal. A lack of good vetting is too often resulted in the election of people who should have never been allowed to make governing decisions. And after the election, the failure of those people to follow, analyze, and report on the actions and votes taken once the person is office has resulted in the continuous re-election of people who say one thing when campaigning and then often do just the opposite, or at least less than the campaign rhetoric. So I'm going to interject here. That is one of the primary reasons why I was really excited to sign up to lead the Legislative Priorities Committee for the Republican Party of Collin County. And in the next few weeks, we're going to compile the results and submit a report for approval in July to the county. And at that point, we will be able to speak on just how well we think our state reps and state senators did in representing the platform and those priorities. Until then, I'm going to really kind of be as objective as I can and not get tied down into the mudslinging. I know there's going to be plenty of it, and honestly, maybe some of them deserve it, some don't. But the reality is, if we keep sending them back, they're going to keep doing what it is that they've been doing. So the purpose of this book is how we, the people, can regain our role in ensuring that the plan, the Founding Fathers' brilliant plan for life, liberty, and individual pursuit of happiness can be rescued. And those now in control of too many states in our nation are not interested in that. Okay, so that's kind of the end, again, written by Bob Hall. So, in the chapter called The Beginning, he just kind of relates how he got to where he's at. Okay? So, a couple of the key points, right? These are summaries at the end of his little chapters. We are the people, you are the servant. The 5-star plan begins with every Texas politician that did not stand up to Abbott. The Texas five-star plan also calls for 5 million voters to participate in the Republican primary elections of 2020. And we need those five-star candidates. So now the agenda, right? What's going to be the agenda for the five-star? So I'm going to kind of go through those really quickly here. We're going to try and keep this video, or not the video actually, the video is already done. The audio recording, we're going to try and keep it under 10 minutes, right? I want to be quick, punchy, so that you guys can think about this prior to the next episode coming out. So the legislative agenda is the elimination of the Texas governor's emergency powers. They were abused and they are not granted to him. They need to be restricted. Now on here, he's got constitutional carry. Now, just so we're clear, your driver's license and being only 18 years old is the permit that you need to carry a weapon in Texas. Criminals lose that right, but that's different. So, what we have now is a form of permitless carry that the governor just signed into law. It is not constitutional carry. Now, I realize a lot of the bite has been taken out by allowing this, but the battle for constitutional carry continues. School choice. That's number 3. I got to say, there's a number of different ways this can break. I am just not in favor of vouchers. I think that's the camel's nose under the tent, if you will. But there are many ways that this could be done, so that's good too. Number 4, term limits. No office in Texas may be held for more than 8 years. So if you're popular, you get your 8 years, but then after that, you're done. You got to get out. We don't need guys there for 30 plus years or even 60 years. 8 years and you're done. And the Texas property tax. Well, now that's really interesting because if there's a property tax, you really never own your property. And I guess that's one that I'm really a big fan of. I think Deborah Medina ran on that. Oh, man. Probably 2-3 terms ago. I don't remember. Maybe it was when Abbott was running the first time. I think that's a really good thing that we need to look at. There's plenty of other ways to fund a very limited government without having to tax people for owning a piece of property. Outlaw Texas convenience abortions. Again, I will maybe not exactly sure where they're going with that, but ending abortion one way or the other sounds great. Public meetings and votes. Always open to the public, recorded, and available at any time. The state of Texas should have no state secrets. And outside of those executive sessions that are required, everything else should be public business. Eminent domain. Well, there you go. We need to do a lot to change the eminent domain. The suggestion here is, before it can be approved, you basically have a jury duty to determine whether or not they can do it. I like that. Then he's got on here number 9, computer-generated redistricting plan. Now, the way he's got this described in here sounds interesting, but I will just tell you, I don't see that this is ever going to come to fruition, but I have no complaint about it in theory. So we'll leave that alone. And voter integrity being number 10. Again, this is great. Well past due. And once again, the legislature and the governor really didn't do anything to make that happen. Now he says we're going to need volunteers in every county. We'll need candidates to run for every office. We're going to look for candidate donations, and we need those voters to turn out. So, again, the 5-star agenda summary is how primary elections work and who can vote in them, right? The legislative agenda, which we've covered. And we're asking people to work together to preserve liberty, right? That's key. That is very key. And then replace Governor Abbott and every politician who sided with him. once again, key. All right, that's it for this first episode on the Texas 5-Star Plan. I'll be back tomorrow with part 2.